Is this the most overhyped show in the history of shows? Quite possibly. I'm John Stark from Movieguy.com, and this is my review of The House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 1. The pilot, I'm not cool enough as a critic. I actually haven't seen any critic that is claimed to get more than the first episode. I did see some critics that got the first 4 episodes of She-Hulk, but I haven't seen anybody who said they saw the first couple episodes of House of the Dragon. So I don't know that ABC, HBO pre-screened this for anybody. I do know that I was really annoyed. I saw House of the Dragon first, and then later on in the day, I ended up watching Last Week Tonight, which would have aired the same night, admittedly, as House of the Dragon, but as we all know, it shares a later time slot. And I swear to God, and I loaded it on HBO Max, which means it was on demand. So I wasn't like watching it live. I didn't DVR it, anything like that. And I had the longest fucking preview coming out of House of the Dragon, a show that they had just already done the first episode for. I had this giant sweeping 5-minute thing before I was allowed to watch Last Week Tonight. I was like, this is so unnecessary. Anybody just watched it if they were live, and if they're not live, nobody needs this. Nobody needs 5 minutes of people talking about how grateful they were to work on the show. I was so grateful. It's amazing. I love the opportunity to work on the show. It's like my dream come true. Oh yeah, I was so happy to work with so and so. He came into I was like, oh my God, Jesus, stop patting yourselves on the back for getting to work on Game of Thrones. Nobody else has ever been handed a prequel series and been like, oh my God, I was so happy to work on Better Call Saul. I just really love Breaking Bad so much. And so when Vince Gilligan called up and was like, do you want to do Better Call Saul? I was like, oh my God, really? Oh my God. There are videos like that don't exist. And then the show just goes on and just is amazing. It just is. Because you just write it amazing. You don't hype people up by telling people how amazing you promise you're going to make the show. You just make an amazing show. So that being said, they made an amazing show. So it's just annoying to hear them sit around and grandstand about how they plan on making an amazing show. And it's just do it. Just go out and do it. You're either going to make Better Call Saul or you're going to make Fear the Walking Dead. You're going to make one of those two things happen. So just live. So I think they definitely made more of a Better Call Saul. I think this, unless they fuck it up, could easily be a new thing. It's got all of the trappings. It's got characters we could relate to, and it still has that Game of Thrones feel where I spent the whole episode going, someone's going to die, someone's going to die, someone's going to die, someone's going to die. I just didn't know who it was going to be. It was like, someone's going to die. I was like, oh, is Damon going to die? Is it going to be Damon? Or is Damon going to be the new villain? Because there were times where I was like, it could be Damon. Damon could die. And then I was like, oh no, it's going to be the king. It's going to be the king. He's going to die. He's going to die. There were times, I just kept floating that Game of Thrones feeling that no one is ever safe. Kept floating around. And then when we got to childbirth, and actually, I should say spoilers. Spoilers. It says it in the title. So if you made it this far, you just didn't read. But when we got to the point where Emma? No, that wasn't her name. The queen was in the bathtub, and she was talking about all of the previous miscarriages and everything that she'd gone through before. And he was like, I've had a vision. It's going to be a boy. I was like, I feel like this isn't going to go well. And then as soon as he was presented it with a breech, as soon as it's a breech birth, I was like, he's gonna take that. He's gonna go for the baby. He's choosing the baby. He absolutely is gonna choose that baby. If he thinks that's a boy in there, sorry, wife. Yeah. So I'm sure if they had told him that it was a girl, we would have had a completely different result, and we would have learned about what abortion is in in this time period, and it would have been horrifying for an entirely different chunk of the audience as they watch like I guess like a baby be cut up. I don't know what you do back then, like when you're like save the mother and there's like a baby that's being, I don't know what they do. They just give up, and it's probably horrifying, but could have been an equally impactfully horrifying scene, by the way. So I don't think he would have saved a girl. I think if like the guy had been like, it's not a boy, I think he'd have been like, oh well, fuck it, then save the wife. I don't need another daughter. I need no more of these. Never mind. So it's interesting, but he was very clearly like he was gonna save that boy. He was gonna take a shot, and it didn't happen. So I'm happy with where the show landed. I know that the Queen That Never Was. I love that. That's a great name, by the way. I know that she's gonna be miffed because she got passed over for her whatever cousin, and I feel like this is going to be one of those, battle for the Iron Throne things. But at the same time, she really should look at the progress and be like, you know what? I had to fight him for it, but on the plus side, go for, this is a huge step forward for women. At least he's choosing his daughter over that dickhead brother of his. Like, look on the positive. You exacted some change. You showed that there could be possibility. You made it to the final two. They put you up against him, and you almost made it, but you just barely lost out. And now the successor is a girl. It's not you. I get that, but it's sort of like, don't get political. Just imagine what I'm saying here, and it's sort of like the Hillary thing, right? So she's like the first presidential nominee from any party to make it to the top of the ticket. At some point, there will be a female president. I don't know if she'll be alive when that happens or not, but at some point in our country's history, I'm sure we'll elect a female president. At some point, if that happens to be while Hillary's alive, I know she'll be like, oh, that should have been me. But at the same time, it's like, if you didn't get as far as you did, then the next person wouldn't even be remotely considered. So I kind of feel like, thanks to the work of the people before, this little girl has finally been considered eligible for the Iron Throne. So I'm already rooting for her. I'm just like, yes. She seems like a character to root for, too, because she's not a dick, and hasn't done anything, at least in the first episode, to make me not root for her. So there you go. Anyway, this is a fun show. Very gory. In episode 1, they immediately want to remind you this is Game of Thrones. So I did. There was one moment where I was like, I winced, and it gave me like physical pain when they said it. And he was like, "This is the story of our people. It was called A Song of Ice and Fire." And I was like, "Fuck me." Did you have to? Did you have to? Are you legally required? Was George R.R. Martin standing there with a gun to your head? And you were like, he will say that line. We're going to put A Song of Ice and Fire into this fucking pilot. We're going to link the shows with the books. That was a bit much. It was a little like, thanks for the name drop. Cool. But that was the only thing. That was the only moment where I was ever just like, really, guys? Otherwise, I thought the pilot was tremendous. So I'm really excited for the next one. I just didn't need the name drop. It was kind of cheesy. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Them's my thoughts from the blind critic. I did, Game of Thrones. I actually did get to visually see it. It ran long enough, and yes, not the end of it, but I did get to see some episodes in the beginning, first parts of it. Anyway, so I know kind of what the visuals were. Obviously, that helps me none here because there were no characters crossing over, but I can kind of visualize it. That's what I'm using in my head anyway to picture these characters. So that's it. Anyway, I'm gonna give this House of the Dragon Season 1 Episode 1 an A. Yep, that was a great pilot. Great way to start off a show, especially with all of the hype around it. Tons of hype. It has to live up to a lot of things. You know what else does that has an insurmountable amount of hype? The Lord of the Rings show. My God. They're putting that into theaters. Oh, better be good. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to keep recapping House of the Dragon, so you can stay with me on that. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, feel free to like and subscribe. You can visit my website, MacMovieGuy.com, for more reviews. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org, to find out what has audio description and where you can watch it, and the adna.org to see who's narrating what. That's it, and I'm going to review something else, and I'll see you on the other side.